Hello chess lovers, let's have a look at a game played by Garry Kasparov and Sergei Karjakin. The game was played at St. Louis Rapid and Blitz 2017. This was a Blitz game and Kasparov started with e4, e5 by Karjakin, and here comes a surprising move by Kasparov, f4, King's Gambit. E takes f4, King's Gambit accepted, knight c3, this is the Keras Gambit, allowing black to play queen h4 check, king e2, and now the queen has done its job, made white king to move and retreats back. d4, knight f6, bishop takes f4, bishop b4, bishop g5, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and d6. By the way, knight takes e4 looks very tempting, but this tactics doesn't work because after bishop takes d8, knight takes c3 check, king d2, knight takes d1, white can capture on c7, and it turns out that black knight is trapped. If knight f2, then black king can even get checkmated after rook e1 check, king f8, bishop d6 check, followed by rook e8 checkmate. Let's go back. That's why after b takes c3 we see d6, knight f3, black castles, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, king f2, c5, h3 preventing bishop g4, rook e8, queen d3, b6, rook e1, bishop b7, g3, knight c6, bishop g2, rook c8, a3, controlling the b4 square, and now after c takes d4, c takes d4, there is no knight b4 move. a3, knight b8, rook e3, knight d7, rook f1, queen e7, and a very dubious decision by Kasparov, king g1. A better move was rook e1, protecting the pawn on e4, but this king g1 move allows black to capture on e4. Queen e2, d5, knight h4, g6, bishop takes e4, d takes e4, queen g4, knight f6, queen g5, knight h5. In here the players repeated the moves, and knight g7. Karjakin is going for a win. Yes, this is a winning position for black, but already Karjakin was under a terrible time pressure. The pawn on a3 also drops, and there are some technical difficulties in winning in this position. g4, Kasparov is trying to find some counterplay. Knight g5, g takes f5, knight f3 check, rook takes f3, white is forced to give up his rook. Rook f8, knight h4, queen e7, queen f2, queen g5 check, rook g3, queen c1 check, king g2, rook takes c3, and now comes this beautiful knight takes g6 move, creating some problems for black. Rook takes g3 check, queen takes g3. Now black can't capture on g6 because white will simply give a perpetual check, and this is a draw. Instead, after queen takes g3, Karjakin played queen d2 check. Well, as I have already mentioned, he had a few seconds on the clock. Otherwise, this is a winning position for black. Black can play queen c6 check. If d5, then queen takes d5, king h2, and now black is bringing the queen to a1 h8 diagonal, and then black can capture on g6. And if queen takes g6, then queen g7, and it's all over. Let's go back. But after queen takes g3, we see queen d2 check, king h1, queen d1 check, king g2, queen e2 check, and Karjakin started to give a perpetual check. By the way, if black tries to move his rook, for example, if rook e8, then knight e5 check, of course now king h8 is not possible because of this knight f7 checkmate. And if king f8, then queen a3 check, king g7, and now it's white who can give a perpetual check, and again this is a draw. Let's go back. After king g2 we see queen c2 check, and Karjakin started to give a perpetual check, and the players agreed to a draw. A very interesting decision, I think, by Kasparov to go for King's Gambit. What is more interesting, in my chess-based database, there was only one game by Kasparov when he went for King's Gambit. Moreover, that game was played during a chess simul. This much. Your comments and questions, please, and thanks for watching.